Oh, yeah, you better believe it. It's Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He's Johnny North. RingsideReport.net is our website. That's where you can check out all the stuff that we do. Dave and Johnny Live, Ringside Report MMA, watch-alongs for all the WWE, AEW, and UFC pay-per-views. We've got you covered when it comes to professional wrestling and mixed martial arts over at RingsideReport.net. Ringside Report MMA. We were controversial this week, going hard at the UFC and their business practices. Dave and Johnny Live creating a lot of controversy this week, talking about Jim Cornette and the whole hashtag speaking out movement in professional wrestling. So many women and men coming out talking about incidents that have happened to them in the past where they were victims of sexual violence. And a lot of people in professional wrestling are being called out, and we talked about it at length on Dave and Johnny Live. A over hour-long show, and I'm already taking a lot of heat. I'm seeing some of the comments on YouTube. Some new viewers not too happy with what I had to say about Jim Cornette. Johnny doesn't take as much heat as I do for some reason, but I took a lot of the heat. That's okay. That's okay. Bring the heat upon me. I am ready. I am fine to take your YouTube heat. I know that it never translates into real heat. The Ringside Report, Wrestling Uncensored universe is behind me 100%, as they always are, or behind Johnny North, depending on, the argument at the time. But some of the new commenters were pretty rude to me, not too happy. It seems like the Jim Cornette fans came out in full force, not too happy with what I had to say about Jim Cornette and some of the other sexual abusers in professional wrestling. But this stuff has to stop, and hopefully this is a moment in time in professional wrestling where we can all look at ourselves and we can all look at those around us and take a stand and say no more. Because if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. If you are not helping, you are hurting. And if you sit idly by in silence, you are allowing other people to continue to do these things. And I know myself, I am done with staying quiet about things that are wrong or unjust. I have had enough. I have been quiet for too long. I don't think I have used my platform enough, and I will be speaking out a lot more about a number of issues because I'm tired of it. I'm quite tired of it. And of course, we will talk about the WWE. We will talk about AEW, everything that happened there. We know what's going on with Fyter Fest. Le Champion, Chris Jericho, will be wrestling Orange Cassidy. It's pretty exciting stuff. The Best Friends will take on Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Those two matches made official this week in AEW. Christian came back to the WWE, kinda. Is he going to wrestle again? Edge is hurt. After Backlash, Edge injured. Out for a number of months after tearing his triceps. And that's going to be a long injury now for the Rated R Superstar. We'll get to that. We'll get to Christian as well. I want to start off, though, about a little bit of controversy. I guess it does tie in with what we're talking about on Dave and Johnny Live with the whole speaking out movement. Matt Riddle was accused of some pretty heinous things. I don't want to get into the details right now. If you want to, the details are out there. The details are on Dave and Johnny Live as well. We talked about it, at length. We read the story from the professional wrestler who accused Matt Riddle of, forcing sex upon her. I don't know if it was rape, but it was pretty close. I don't know, man. I don't want to get into the details because whatever it was, whatever happened, Matt Riddle is saying that it's not true. And this happens on a Friday. The allegations come out on a Friday morning. Smackdown is already recorded. It's already in the can. It's done. And Matt Riddle set to make his debut. If you saw Smackdown, you know what happened. He was on the show. He made his debut. AJ Styles is in the ring talking about the Intercontinental Championship, being a cocky champion, bragging about how great he is. He sees all the wrestlers ringside that he has invited. New Day, Cesaro, Sheamus, Nakamura. Of course, Daniel Bryan is there, the man that AJ beat to win the Intercontinental Championship. AJ tells them all, this is close as you're going to get to winning the Intercontinental title. He says, I don't want you to present the title to me, Renee. I want Daniel Bryan to present the title to me. I want Daniel Bryan to congratulate me. And Daniel Bryan comes in and he says, you know, AJ, you and I disagree about a lot of things, but I, of course, infinitely respect your in-ring ability. And that is funny. You know, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, in my mind, are the two greatest wrestlers that the WWE has today. And they are very much opposed as far as the way they live their lives and how they think and where they stand politically, right? What you know about AJ Styles, more on the right side of things. What you know about Daniel Bryan, more on the left side of things. So they are, you know, opposed in a lot of ways, and I wouldn't mind seeing that explored a little bit. But, of course, Daniel Bryan, you know, he wants to appeal for the other guys on the roster. He's always doing that. Give everybody else a shot. Forget about me. What about Drew Gulak? AJ Styles, you should give Drew Gulak a shot at the Intercontinental title. And then Matt Riddle shows up. And this is the day when Matt Riddle's been accused of, you know, choking a woman and forcing her to do things to him. And Matt Riddle shows up, wrestles AJ Styles in a solid match, but honestly, given what has transpired, given what we have heard about Matt Riddle, it was difficult for me to really enjoy it. I would have been normally very excited for this match, but I don't know how to feel about Matt Riddle right now. On one hand, I think he may be a total scumbag. On the other hand, I want to believe that this woman is not telling the truth and that Matt Riddle is a good guy. I want to believe that Matt Riddle is a good guy. And when Matt Riddle denies that he did anything, I want to believe him. But the story is convincing from his accuser. And I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Matt Riddle. So he wrestled on Smackdown. He beat AJ Styles, the Intercontinental Champion, in a non-title match. Beat him clean. In his Smackdown debut, you beat AJ Styles. And then all the superstars who were there ringside, all the baby faces, they come in to celebrate with Matt Riddle afterwards. There's a big Matt Riddle party. Comes in, beats AJ Styles, and then gets a hero's celebration, a hero's welcome to SmackDown. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right to me. We knew that Matt Riddle was supposed to make his debut on SmackDown. We talked about it on Dave and Johnny Live, and we speculated that it would be removed. A lot of people speculated that, well, this is a taped show. They're going to edit out what happened here with Matt Riddle, and they'll just move on. But it was a long segment. It was a whole AJ Styles promo. It was like 30 minutes of the show. It's a quarter of the whole show. The promo with AJ Styles, then Riddle comes out, then the match, then the celebration. Good thing they didn't give him a promo, too. I mean, they spent a lot of time on introducing Matt Riddle to SmackDown on a day where he is filled with controversy. I did not like it. WWE is not very good at learning from their mistakes. They need to slow down sometimes before they move ahead and and allow certain things to transpire. The London bombing, right? There was a terror attack in London. I'm not sure exactly what year, right? When were the London terror train attacks?
I want to say 05.
Yeah, 2005. You are dead on. July 7th, 2005. It was horrible. 56 people died in the London bombings in 2005, a terrorist attack. And that night on Smackdown, a taped Smackdown, they aired Muhammad Hassan and a group of cloaked men carrying out The Undertaker as if he were some sort of ritual sacrifice. On SmackDown. The same night. Did not edit it out. WWE took massive heat for that. Because it was ridiculously tone deaf and just baffling that they would air that. That they wouldn't go back, air a classic match, do something, scramble, change it. And of course, after the fact, after they took the heat, well, the Muhammad Hassan character was just disappeared. Muhammad Hassan, by the way, played by a man by the name of Mark Copani, an Italian-American. Chris Benoit, when he did what he did, they aired a tribute special for him. And as the tribute special was going on, they started to realize maybe we're paying tribute to a murderer. And then by the next night on SmackDown, they're like, sorry about that. We will never mention Chris Benoit's name again. They don't learn from their mistakes. Now, obviously, this is not the same thing. But it's a situation where there are sensitive issues being discussed outside of the company. There are bigger things going on outside of WWE that can affect the WWE. And maybe you want to hold off on some of these more controversial figures until you can actually assess whether Matt Riddle is guilty or not. Until the WWE, they said they're going to have an investigation. Well, why don't you wait until that investigation is over before putting Matt Riddle on television beating AJ Styles? I would have waited. Guilty or not, I would have edited Matt Riddle off of TV. I would have delayed his SmackDown debut until you can make sure that it's okay to have him on TV. Because if it's not, then you just put a potential rapist on your TV show. On Fox. 8 o'clock at night on a Friday night. That's not smart. That's not good. But that's what we're dealing with. That's where we are. The WWE may have just put a sexual assaulter on TV. I hope Matt Riddle is not guilty. But there are pending allegations right now, and the WWE put him on TV anyways. It's disappointing. I think it's short-sighted. I think it's a stupid move by the WWE as a company. Because if he is guilty, if you find out that, he did that, well, what then? What did you just do? What kind of man do you have representing your company on television? It's disappointing from the WWE. It's a dumb move. It's a dumb move. I don't know why they couldn't have done something else, cut the show in a different way, because the potential here is devastating for what they may have done, right? What do you think, Johnny?
Well, the way I look at it, WWE is very stubborn, mainly Vince. And Vince, like, if he believes in something, he's going to run with it. It doesn't matter what public opinion says. Like, just look at the fact that we're seeing, like, shows a lot of people say there shouldn't be wrestling shows, period. Yet Vince is running anyways. Vince had WrestleMania when many people said don't have WrestleMania. So, kind of not surprised. Vince is going with the mentality of like he's innocent until proven guilty.
That's what it seems like. WWE sticking to their to Matt Riddle, at least for now. But I mean, the allegations are just they're pretty shocking. Jack Gallagher also being accused of things. WWE released him. They let Jack Gallagher go. And the allegations about Jack Gallagher, there were many of them. With Riddle, as far as I've seen, it's only been one woman. With Jack Gallagher, there are a few different people that are corroborating these stories, few different people that have stories.
With Gallagher, it kind of feels like it's the Enzo thing all over again, where it's like, well, it's just not even worth trying with him. Just get rid of him. It's not worth the headache of even bothering.
I guess not. But with Matt Riddle, because he's on SmackDown, because you have big plans for him, because he beats AJ Styles on his first night, I guess Matt Riddle gets the benefit of the doubt more than Jack Gallagher. But reading the stories, I mean, who knows, right? Maybe they called Jack Gallagher and he's like, yeah, I did that, right? And if
it's very possible too,
right? You don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes right now in WWE. I can imagine it is not good. But if you call Jack Gallagher and he's like, yeah, maybe that's true. Some of that stuff might be true. Well, then you say, okay, well, you're fired. You're gone. It's over. If you call Matt Riddle and you say, Matt, what happened here? And he's like, I don't know. Because Matt Riddle's saying that she's a stalker and she's obsessed with him and all sorts of stuff. And if he repeats that to the WWE and they decide, okay, well, we're going to do some sort of an independent investigation, well, that's fine. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is keeping him on TV while there is a pending investigation from your company about whether or not he's committed sexual assault. I don't think that while you wonder about whether or not these things have happened, you should continue to put him on TV. The UFC wouldn't do that. I remember there were allegations about Travis Brown, who's Ronda Rousey's husband. Travis Brown's ex-wife claimed that he was abusive towards her. And the UFC suspended Travis Brown pending their independent investigation. And in the end, they found that, maybe her claims were meritless, according to the UFC's investigation. And they reinstated Travis Brown, and he was able to keep fighting. But while they were investigating him, he was not allowed to participate as a UFC fighter. While the WWE investigates Matt Riddle, he is allowed to appear on SmackDown and beat the phenomenal AJ Styles. I don't know, man. Doesn't seem like a good move. AEW Wrestling wishes Jimmy Havoc all the best as he receives treatment and counseling in an effort to overcome the mental health and substance abuse challenges in his life. Jimmy Havoc was accused of some things as well. As women in the pro wrestling industry, very brave, coming out with this hashtag speaking out. And if you search the hashtag speaking out on Twitter, you'll probably be pretty sad, as I was, when you see the numerous stories from so many different women involved in the wrestling business. Women and men. And men. Men accusing Jim Cornette and his wife of grooming them. Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream taking some heat as well. Again. Jimmy Havoc, AEW says that they are aware of various reports related to Jimmy and they are evaluating his status with the company and will address it when he has successfully completed his rehabilitation. So Jimmy Havoc's going to rehab. And we'll see what happens when he comes out. Jack Gallagher's been fired. Matt Riddle beat AJ Styles on Smackdown. Right?
We'll wait and see what happens with this, though. Right now, things are very much fluid, and you don't know how this is going to swing right now.
Mm-hmm. I am seeing one thing, and I think it's really good. Somebody posted on the R Squared Circle Reddit, right? Who says, and this is a solid point, seems like a decent time to remind folks here that the accusations that derailed Enzo Amore's career led to a police investigation that was ultimately dropped due to lack of evidence. It's true. Right? Remember that? Enzo Amore there's a woman who accused Enzo Amore of doing all sorts of stuff, bad things. WWE fired Enzo. And then a lot of the woman's friends were coming out saying this is not true. She makes things up like this all the time. And then there was a police investigation and it was, dropped, lack of evidence. But Enzo never got his job back with WWE. So we do have to be careful, and that's why I preface this by saying, look, I hope Matt Riddle is not guilty. I want him to not be guilty. I want these things to not have happened. I don't want any sexual assaults to have happened, right? Especially not by solid wrestlers who up to this point seem like decent people on TV anyways. But if it is true, the WWE shouldn't have this guy on TV. And that's really the basic thing. Investigate, do your due diligence, but keep them off your program while you're figuring out what the truth of the matter is. That seems like a no-brainer. Don't fire Matt Riddle until you know what happened. Also, you got to be fair to Matt Riddle here. Maybe she is accusing him, and maybe this is unfounded, and maybe this isn't true. Maybe. But we don't know. And I don't think the WWE knows either. They certainly don't know. I can't imagine that they would know like within a few hours, right? Like Friday morning, news comes out. Friday night, Smackdown happens. I can't imagine that the WWE started an investigation Friday morning, and then by Friday night, it was concluded, and they're like, yeah, Matt Riddle's fine. No problem. I would assume that the WWE, if they're really going to do an investigation and really try and find out what happened, that it would last at least a couple of days. So, as far as I'm concerned, logic would dictate that this investigation is still pending. And while the investigation on Matt Riddle is still pending by the WWE, they allowed him on SmackDown. In a major spot, too. In a really major spot, beating AJ Styles. That seems ill-advised. Velveteen Dream is being accused of grooming an underage boy? My goodness. There's a guy who's saying that Patrick Clark tried to groom him as an underage boy for sex. But I don't know. I don't know, man. These accusations are just flying out right now, and it's hard to know which ones to believe. You really got to look into them, and you really got to you got to see what's going on here. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. There's a lot of accusations, and it's just a sad time in the pro wrestling business. Sad time. There were accusations about Velveteen a little while ago, right? With I think it was an underage girl accusing him, right? Now an underage.
I'm not sure.
I think it was a girl. I don't know. Maybe it was a boy. I'm not really sure because that was like sketchy. The details were really sketchy at the time. There were allegations, but the evidence wasn't really there, and it was kind of like, I don't know. And then Velveteen just kept wrestling on NXT, so you figured, well, maybe he didn't do that. Maybe it was just somebody saying weird stuff on the internet. People say weird stuff on the internet all the time, right? It's hard to tell what to take seriously. But certain things, it becomes obvious over time, right? Certain things, it's like, well, when one person says it, that's one thing. But when numerous people are coming out with accusations, then it's something else. It was like the Bill Cosby thing. When one woman came out, it was like, well, I don't know, maybe. But then once 50 people come out and are like, yeah, Bill Cosby did this to me, it's like, well, yeah. I don't need a judge and a jury to tell me that Bill Cosby is guilty. So I look for numerous accusations. And that's why I'm still on the fence with the Riddle thing. The Jack Gallagher thing, many accusations there. And a lot of them in the British wrestling scene. A lot of accusations there. And the WWE did release Jack Gallagher, who was in NXT UK, I guess.
Oh, I know. He was wrestling on 205.
He was on 205.
And NXT, too, recently.
NWA Wrestling, Johnny North, has their co-president, Dave Lagana. Dave Lagana has been accused, and now he has resigned from the company. Did you know that one?
Not only that, NWA has halted production too as well now because of that.
Yeah, they are halting production pending a restructuring of executive management positions. Wow. That's taking down a wrestling company. Good.
Well, to be fair, they weren't really running shows.
Say that again?
They weren't really running wrestling shows. It was more like skits they were running.
Yeah. But Dave Lagana, he worked for WWE. He's a well-known backstage type guy in pro wrestling. I didn't see that he was being accused. I saw a bunch of accusations, and I went away for a while, and then you come back, and there's just dozens more. That's what's really got me. I knew the wrestling business was greasy, but this is too much. Too much. All right, Big Johnny. I guess we have to talk about the coronavirus in WWE. I'd like to talk about other things like Christian coming back. Things are a little bit more fun, but it's a dark time in pro wrestling. Can we just briefly touch on the coronavirus thing? And then we'll get to some real fun stuff, okay?
Okay.
So somebody tested positive for coronavirus from WWE. We don't know who it is, right?
They're saying it might be a female now.
Okay. So it's Nia Jax?
Well, no, development.
Oh. Okay. Somebody that was in the crowd, maybe?
Right.
Okay. So somebody tested positive for coronavirus. They stop production. They test everybody. They're like, oh, this is not good. Right? But production resumed.
Well, not completely. They didn't tape Smackdown when they were supposed to.
Okay, but Smackdown got taped, right?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah. So since, we found out that somebody is from WWE, they halted production, but briefly, right? For a day?
Well, I think Raw was still taped that same day. Kevin Owens didn't wrestle, though, on the show, though. So that kind of ruined, I think, what they had planned for Raw. So I think they may have, changed what they had planned completely for the whole show.
Kevin Owens went home. Kevin Owens said, I'm not doing this. Coronavirus here? Get me out of here. Kevin Owens left. I don't blame him. Somebody has coronavirus at my work. You think I'm going back in? Are you going back to work if somebody has coronavirus? I'm not. I'm surprised Kevin Owens is the only guy who went home.
Well, sadly, someone in his family passed away due to coronavirus. So
Oh, really?
I can understand that he takes it very seriously.
I didn't know that. Wow. Well, he went home, and WWE said, look, we're taking all the precautions, everything's good. And then people are like, well, how come nobody's wearing a mask? And apparently they've been told that if they want to stand in the crowd, they can't wear a mask. And then the WWE says, well, it's all fine because they have glass partitions, the crowd and the wrestlers, there's partitions, and there's never any interaction between the wrestlers and the crowd. Except the Street Profits came in through the crowd on Raw this week. The same day where somebody tested positive for coronavirus. The Street Profits were in the crowd on Raw, and they had interactions with. I mean, if the Street Profits have coronavirus, okay? Let's say, for example, hypothetically, the Street Profits get coronavirus, okay? They were involved with the Viking Raiders, Akira Tozawa and all his guys, that giant foot soldier that Tozawa has, the Big Show, right? Big Show was there with Street Profits. I mean, if Drew McIntyre, I think at one point, if Street Profits have coronavirus, they have given it to several members of the WWE roster. So, just that alone is disturbing. I hope no one else in WWE has COVID-19, coronavirus. But the WWE trying to tell everybody, nobody ever goes into the crowd. There's no interaction between the wrestlers and the audience. The audience, the paid audience. Well, that's just not true. And the fact that they don't want people wearing masks, because what? It reminds people that there's a coronavirus? As if we're not reminded when we see the weird setup on Raw and SmackDown every week? You're not in an arena. There's no fans. You're not touring. We know. We don't forget that we're in a pandemic when we watch Raw. And you having your developmental talent / crowd standing there, by the way, why don't you give them a chair? If they were standing there with a mask, no one would mind. No one would be at home saying, oh, why are they wearing a mask? I'm so bummed out. I just remembered coronavirus. In fact, it might be a good idea for the WWE to tell people to wear masks. Because A, they sell them on WWE Shop so they can make a buck. And B, it's not a bad idea. The state of California just made it mandatory in all public spaces. It seems like...
Apparently Orlando too, this week, apparently that's going to happen as well. So WWE might have to wear masks.
It seems like one of the ways to kill this thing and to eradicate it is for everybody to be wearing a mask all the time. The more mask wearing, from what the science is telling us, seems to stop the spread of the virus tremendously. Places where masks are mandatory, the virus is getting stomped out. Yet there are still people out there that do not want you to wear a mask, right? I don't want to get political on this thing, and apparently wearing a mask is political. It's not in Japan. It's just something people do. But for some reason, here, it's become a political issue. Good job. Good job, everybody. I am not happy with this.
WWE did state, though, that the fans that were there were family and friends of the staff, so they weren't really fans in a sense. And apparently the family and friends are saying that they weren't told they couldn't wear a mask. They're just like encouraged not to wear a mask.
They weren't told they couldn't wear a mask. They were just told they couldn't come in if they were wearing a mask, which is the same thing.
Pretty much, yes.
Uh-huh. Good job, WWE. Terrible week for WWE. Terrible week for pro wrestling, but for WWE, really bad. Half their NXT UK roster, gone. Matt Riddle debuts on Smackdown. Ruined. Coronavirus infiltrates the company. They look like idiots. Come on.
But to be honest, I enjoyed Raw this week. I thought Raw was actually a very good show.
Okay, good. Let's talk about that when we come back. We got to take a short pause here for the radio side, do a couple commercial breaks for you all, and then when we come back, we'll talk about Raw. And I agree, Raw was good. Hey, and I don't have to go to Raw, so it's safe. I'm safe at home, away from the Street Profits. Okay, we'll take a short pause here. It's Wrestling Uncensored. We'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about Christian. Is he back? Is Christian back in wrestling? We'll get to that. Stay with us. Oh, Johnny. I was about to, return to the show. I forgot we were going to do a commercial break. I was about to talk to you like we weren't still on YouTube. I almost forgot that this show is still on. Like, people are hearing this on the podcast. This is part of the podcast. Like, when we went to commercial break, I thought we were, off. But we're not off. Like, we're still on. You know what I mean? I was about to say some things to you that I shouldn't be saying while we're still on. You get it? Oof, close one.
It's okay. It's okay. You can curse off camera later. It's cool.
Fuck, man. I'm just pissed off at everything.
Curse now.
Yeah, I'm doing it now. I'm pissed off that WWE's so fucking stupid. I'm pissed off that people think wearing a mask is a political issue.
That was weeks ago, by the way. Like that, people are still complaining to you about that.
Not to me, but just in general. I did one tweet about it, and people got so fucking mad at me. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe how mad people got, and I'm just seeing it, online, and just people are fucking horrible. I'm sick of so much going on in this world. I'm sick of sexual harassers calling themselves feminists. I'm sick of a lot of bullshit that's going on in this world, man, and I'm calling it out. I'm going to call these motherfuckers out, and it's going to get ugly. And I'm not scared, because what the fuck are they going to do to me, I shouldn't be saying these things, man, but fuck it. I'm at my wit's end, I've had enough. I'm sick of this. I'm so disgusted with white men, mostly, And as a white man, I'm just like, fuck. If I can do this, if I can navigate this properly, or as properly as I am, the fuck is going on with everybody else, man? Fucking racism. Fucking coronavirus. Fucking raping people. Fuck, man. I wear a mask. I'm not racist. And I don't rape. And it's not fucking hard to do. I just don't get it. I don't get all this bullshit that people are fucking doing right now. I want to smack the shit out of them. I really do, man. I want to smack the shit out of every single one of them that's fucking up. I shouldn't try to smack the shit out of Matt Riddle, though. That would not go so well for me. The other ones, though. There's Donald Trump Jr. when you need him. Smack the shit out of him, that fucking idiot. Fuck that guy. All right? I hate him worse than Donald Trump. Donald Trump, whatever. He's a stupid old man. Donald Trump Jr. is just a little rat fuck. Fuck that guy, little piece of shit. And fuck Joe Biden, too, all right? Fucking old man. Stupid old man. Fucking senile. They're both fucked. They're all fucked, man. America's fucked. It's sad for me. I love America. I want to go to New York City. I don't think I'll go to New York till like 2030. You know what I mean? It sucks. I want to see the fucking Yankees. No Yankees. It sucks. I'm pissed off, Johnny North. I'm pissed off, brother.
I heard a lot of athletes actually tested positive, so there might not be sports for a little bit now for that, unfortunately. But, the good news is you'll have the gym soon, so you'll be able to vent out a lot of frustrations there.
I did jiu-jitsu yesterday.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. With my brother, Not with anybody else, just my brother, but that's a start. In my living room, I have, all the mats set up on the floor. It's fantastic. We had a really good, I had a solid jiu-jitsu session yesterday. I did 7 5-minute rounds. I'm, sore today. It felt great. It felt so good to roll. So, at least that's starting to come back. That's a positive. My gym isn't open, but, martial arts gyms are going to be tough to reopen and stuff, but it's something, it's a start.
They're not opening just for, doing drills or something like that?
I don't know. I haven't heard. Maybe some of them are. But, martial arts gyms, combat sports, it's tough, right? It's tough to do combat sports at a distance, so. You can do solo drills, but that's about it. I'm just upset, man. I'm upset about a lot of shit. And people need to start acting right. And if I see dudes around me not acting correctly, I'm going to fucking check you, all right? I'm letting people know. I'm putting people on notice. If you're around me and you're acting in a fucking way that's inappropriate, I'm not just going to stand there and be like, oh, fuck, what the fuck, I'm going to check you. Because I realize that I have heard things. I have heard other men say things, and I have not participated, but I have not shut them down. And I'm disappointed in myself. I've heard, you know what I'm talking about, John. You know how men talk when women aren't present, right? And sometimes I hear some shit, and I'm just like, come on, dude. And sometimes, and we as men need to check other men when they're crossing that line. And I'm gonna be more on that personally. I feel bad that I have heard people say shit that I've thought to myself, fuck. First of all, why would you say that? Second of all, why would you say that to me? I don't understand. Some guys say things to me, and I'm like, why would you think that I would appreciate that type of comment? But I don't say that. I just say, okay. I don't participate. You can tell that I'm not into it, but I'm not saying, hey, man, shut the fuck up, And that's going to happen. Because I've had it, man. I've had it with these dudes walking around thinking that they can do whatever. And I will slap the shit out of some of them. That's a fact. It's going to happen. Open hand slap, like David Schultz.
Well, some of them need it, that's for sure.
Right? And some of the... I've told you some of the stories, right? As far as people in the media, people that I've worked with. I've told you some things. Some of these people are going to get slapped. It is what it is.
See, you know people. I don't really know people that much. I barely even talk to anyone anymore, so... I think you've definitely interacted a lot more than I have, that's for sure, unfortunately.
Yeah. The more I have human interactions, the less hyped I am about the next human interaction. That's why I like talking to you, John. I talk to you all the time. It's always good. I get mad at you. You piss me off so much. But I love you. And I think you love me back. So, there's that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
No confirmation. I never get it back from you, John. Never get it back. Never.
That's the face of me, I'm always like good, but there's always a little bit of an edge to me too.
Do you even like me, John? I don't know. I feel like we're very good friends, but sometimes I wonder, does John like me? I tell him I like him. I tell him I love him, but he never... It's not reciprocal, John. You make me sad, brother.
You got to read between the lines. You sometimes do, but you only read between the shady lines, unfortunately.
Oh, speaking of reading between the lines, John, we should do a commercial. Let's read between your lines, baby. Manscaped. Let's shave between your lines. Let's get between all the nooks and crannies of Big Johnny North. Although I don't think there's any hair left because this Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0, it did the job, right, Johnny? I mean, it got you down, clean, smooth as a baby's bottom. Except on your balls. And I think on your butt, too. So really, really impressive flexibility as well from Johnny North. Not only the musculature, but also the flexibility. Incredible. That put you over. You never put me over like this, John. You see? Never. Lawnmower 3.0. Just a fantastic product. No? Nothing?
Well, no, it's not that. It's just I developed like an irritation near my groin area actually recently. So like I haven't been able to use it. So actually the hair is growing a little bit, unfortunately.
But of course that irritation not caused by any Manscaped products, right? That's just something else. Probably some sort of underwear you're wearing. Those weird Speedos you wear.
I think it was actually a boxer or something, but I threw it out. I think I probably put too much like bleach or something in my wash. So yeah, nothing to do with the Manscaped.
Ouch. Ouch. I don't even want to know more about that, and I don't want to know exactly where. However, Manscaped, we know it's a great product. You've got so much great stuff from Manscaped. You go to manscaped.com, and you use the promo code Ringside20, and you get 20% off your order, plus free shipping. Use the promo code Ringside20. Get this ball deodorant. Your balls will smell nice. Your balls will thank you. Look at this cool Manscaped shirt I'm wearing.
The back is better.
Representing for Manscaped. I'll show you the back. How about this? Here we go.
And the cool part is, too, now this Lawnmower 3.0 is now available in Canada for the first time ever.
Are you getting it, John?
You can't read it. It says... I can see it says Manscaped. I don't know if everyone can see that. It says your balls will thank you. I wish the back was the front. I find it'd be better like that, but it's still cool.
Your balls will thank you. Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Promo code Ringside20 for 20% off your order plus free shipping. This offer will end at the end of the month, so go now to Manscaped.com. Promo code Ringside20. You have until the end of the month of June. Manscaped.com, promo code Ringside20 to get 20% off plus free shipping on your order. Let me tell you about our friends over at Stitcher Premium. We've been making podcasts for a long time, and many of you have been using Stitcher to stream or download our shows, Wrestling Uncensored, Ringside Report MMA. Stitcher offering you the Ringside Report universe as part of their sponsorship of our work, a special offer on the premium version of their service. Now, besides all of our shows, you can listen to over 100,000 podcasts on your iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, Amazon Echo device, or in your car, on demand, ad-free with Stitcher Premium. You get Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and more. Just $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year. What you want to do is go to Stitcher.com/premium to sign up today. Stitcher.com/premium. Use that promo code Ringside for a free month. And let Stitcher know that we sent you. So Stitcher.com/premium, promo code Ringside for a free month of Stitcher Premium. And also our friends over at IP Vanish, don't forget to check them out. Go to vpn.ringsidereport.net. Get yourself a quality VPN right now for the month of June. Get a permanent discount on their service, just $5 a month, 59% off IP Vanish forever. This is a permanent discount. A tremendous deal for the Ringside Report universe. Protect yourself on the internet. Protect your devices, your phone, your laptop, anything that uses Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi. You don't want to get hacked. You need a VPN. Use your internet like you're using it from anywhere in the world. No longer will you have this videos not available in your country with a secure VPN like IPVanish. VPN.ringsidereport.net. The month of June, tremendous offer, $5 a month. Permanent discount. Permanent. That means forever. VPN.ringsidereport.net. Shall we?
We should.
All right, welcome back. It is Ringside Report. I botched it, John. I got to do it again.
It happens. Again, this is Ringside Report. It's Ringside Report presents Wrestling Uncensored.
That's right. Ringside Report is the brand. Wrestling Uncensored is an offshoot. Johnny gets it. Johnny knows. You got a mind for this. Wrestling Uncensored is like the wolf pack of Ringside Report. Right? We're the wolf pack, but we're part of still the greater NWO. Too Sweet for Life.
If you saw the watch along, I think you definitely agree with that. That was definitely a very Wolfpack kind of episode.
Why was it Wolfpack? Because of the fart jokes?
Fart jokes, Zev Mania running wild. Definitely Wolfpack.
Zevi Mania was running wild. My son was all over that watch along. He kept bursting in. Just bursting into the studio. Sometimes he wasn't wearing pants. All right, let's get back to it. All right, welcome back. This is Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. RingsideReport.net is the website. We are talking professional wrestling every week with you here on your radio, on your podcast, and on YouTube and Facebook Live. Thank you for watching. Thank you for super chatting. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. We love you. We appreciate you. We were on for Backlash last Sunday for the Backlash Watch Along. We'll be back in July for Extreme Rules. And Johnny North, you really liked Raw this week. Now, Kevin Owens was on Raw. He beat Angel Garza with a stunner after a distraction from Andrade. Zelina Vega was not too happy that Andrade and Angel Garza weren't getting along, and she told them to get together. Work together, because that's how they are strongest. Now, Kevin Owens was on Raw this week. He got a win, but apparently he won't be on Raw next week because Raw has already been recorded, right?
That's correct.
It won't be live.
I don't think they're going to have a live show for actually a long time, unfortunately. So it's going to be kind of rough. I think they taped like next week's stuff as well. Maybe not SmackDown, but almost everything else has already been taped.
It doesn't really make a difference, though. Normally, under normal circumstances, when things are pre-recorded, there's an audience there, and many people will provide spoilers, right? But now, it's not a real audience, so the spoilers aren't readily available as they normally would be on a non-live show. So I don't mind the non-live Raw because I can't really tell.
Well, if anything, this actually helps WWE get people hyped up for Raw because they know what happened, so then they can kind of throw in little things like, oh, you'll want to watch tonight, it'll never be the same again kind of thing. They threw like a little thing for Christian coming back. But they didn't say exactly that he was coming back.
Now, Christian did come back. Kind of. Randy Orton cut an in-ring promo talking about beating Edge, thanking Edge for reigniting the flame inside of him, talking about Edge being injured, and says Edge will be cleared in July of 2029, and then he starts laughing. And then Christian shows up, and he says Edge isn't done, and he'll be back for revenge, and Randy's like, I think you want one more match. I don't think you're here to defend Edge. And then he challenges Christian to an unsanctioned match later in the night. Now, Christian retired a few years ago. I thought it was concussion issues. Is that what was going on with Christian? Do I have that wrong?
No, you're completely right about that. I think there may have been something with his neck as well, but it was mainly concussion issues. I feel like it's been like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I actually felt it was longer, but I think people said 5.
Now, Daniel Bryan also had to retire due to concussion issues, but he was able to work his way back. I don't think that's what Christian's doing. Because if you saw the match, it wasn't really a match, right? So the whole night, Christian's preparing to wrestle Randy Orton, and people are telling him, it might be a little bit dangerous. Big Show's talking to him. Ric Flair's talking to him. Ric Flair's there for no reason in particular. Why was Nate there?
Well, the reason was there later on, right? Like, you found out.
Ric Flair is over 70. He's had serious health problems, and there was coronavirus in the building. What is he doing? This man has cheated death so many times, it's amazing. God bless the nature boy Ric Flair. Right? Like, plane crash,
he wants to have a
coronavirus.
match.
What?
He wants to wrestle again.
Yeah, well, that's ridiculous. He's also said that he wanted to die in the ring. And, right? So, if he wrestles again, that might happen, which no one needs to see. That would be horrible. So Flair doesn't need to wrestle again. Christian and Orton are in the ring for their unsanctioned match, and then Ric Flair shows up and tells him not to wrestle Randy because Randy's going to hurt him really bad. And then Christian's like, look, I have to do it. And then the bell rings, and Ric Flair punches Christian in the groin. And then Randy Orton hits... Randy Orton hits the punt kick on Christian and knocks him out, but, not really. And then rolls him over gently and pins him for the win. And then Randy says, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do this, as he kind of caresses Christian in his unconscious state. So not really a match. I was getting a little bit excited when I saw Christian there preparing for a match. I thought, oh, can he wrestle? What's going on here? But what we saw wasn't really a match. And I am doubtful. I really doubt that we'll see him wrestle a real match, right? Like, this isn't a comeback for Christian, too, is it?
I think this is mainly to help build up Randy Orton to be the legend killer again. And I think eventually to build Randy to face Drew McIntyre. I think that's going to be the big match going forward into SummerSlam. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton.
That makes sense. Drew doesn't really have solid challengers right now. Randy is the top heel on Raw. So why not, right? That makes a lot of sense to me. R-Truth and Drew McIntyre beat MVP and Bobby Lashley in a tag team match. I don't know. You like that? I mean, I like the Christian stuff. The Christian stuff with Randy, that was really good. Asuka and Nia Jax was, it was what it was.
Horrible finish.
You didn't like the finish.
I didn't push the ref.
Nia Jax hits a Samoan drop, but Asuka's leg was under the rope, so the ref didn't count the pin. Nia Jax got mad, pushed the referee, and then Asuka rolls up Nia quickly as she's distracted by the ref. And then the announcers were saying, oh, that was a fast count by the referee. I don't know. It was a better finish than the one on Backlash. Backlash was a double count out. At least we had a winner here. It wasn't great.
Well, and they're building that this is kind of like a storyline now where there's beef between the ref and Nia, so I feel like they're just going to do another match. I believe it's Asuka versus Charlotte again on Raw this week for the title. I think Nia's going to get involved, and we're going to probably have a triple threat match going forward.
Yep, Extreme Rules or something like that. That makes sense. I don't know. Nia Jax, Asuka. I'm not so into this feud. I'm not so into having Nia Jax even involved in this. I'm more invested in an Asuka Charlotte program. Something real there. I don't know why Nia has to be there. She's dangerous. She hurts people. And she's not that good. Like, there's not much there to her. I don't know. The promos aren't really good. The matches aren't really good. I feel like she's just getting in the way right now. Sorry.
Well, she's big. And, when you're related to The Rock, you're going to get pushed. So that's just the way it works.
Oh, please. I see The Rock's daughter every week on TV, and all she does is just stand there behind the glass clapping. She's not getting a push. That's his daughter. It's his blood.
Getting TV time.
She's getting plenty of TV time. I'm just waiting for a wrestler to, like, look over to her and be like, hey, say hi to your dad. Like, tell your dad he sucks. Something like that. Nothing. Nobody's talking to her. Every time I see her, I'm like, hey, it's The Rock's daughter. Every time I see her, you can't help but notice her. She's right there. She's always on camera. And she's one of the few recognizable faces in that crowd, right? A lot of the people, you're like, who's that? There's Shotzi Blackheart, and there's The Rock's daughter. And there's Marina Shafir. And that's pretty much it.
I think we've seen Everrise a couple times, too.
Yeah. I see, what's his name? They call him Martel, right? What's his name?
Matt Martel, they call him.
Yeah. What's his deal? He's pretty good. I like his fanny pack. You ever see him? He's always wearing a fanny pack.
I didn't see that, but I saw they actually finally won a match this week. I believe it was on 205. They won against pretty much two guys that wrestle AEW and WWE enhancement matches. So that's nice. They finally won.
There are guys that wrestle AEW and WWE? How does that happen?
Yeah, pretty much the job guys. The job guys are the same in AEW and WWE because they're all in Florida, right?
Are they really? It's not Pineapple Pete, is it?
No, I think not guys like that, though. Lower guys.
Wow. That's kind of crazy. I haven't noticed. I guess I'm not paying close enough attention to the job guys. I'm too busy watching the Viking Raiders and Street Profits against a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja foot soldiers. Big Show came out to help the Street Profits. And Akira Tozawa has a giant guy with him there, a giant foot soldier man. But, like, he didn't do anything. He just stood there. I guess he can't wrestle. I'm sorry, John. I'm refreshing my memory of what happened on Raw, and I don't know, I didn't really like it. Seth Rollins did a thing with Rey Mysterio. They had a promo there, and then Dominic Mysterio showed up and attacked Seth and Murphy and Austin Theory. He, like, attacked Seth, and then Murphy and Austin Theory couldn't catch Dominic, and Dominic escaped. That was, What did you like about this show other than Christian?
I liked Apollo Crews against Shelton Benjamin. That was assault.
Okay. I'll give you that. That was good.
And I like Kevin's match. Kevin's match is solid, too. And I like the build to Christian as well. Like, just how they're like, am I going to wrestle? Am I not going to wrestle? It was interesting. Like, you wanted to actually watch going forward. It's one of the few times I felt that way about Raw in a long time.
Iconics beating Liv Morgan and Natty. I don't know.
I'm not saying it was all good. I'm not saying it was perfect show. I'm just saying it was good overall.
Yep. Yeah. I did like the build to the Christian thing. It did feel like it started at the beginning of the show, and as the show went on with the little segments they had with Christian, you built that anticipation to the main event where you're like, okay, cool, what's going to happen here, right? It did feel like a real main event, right? The rest of the show, though, all the R-Truth and MVP and Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre stuff, I'm done with that. Lana being all mad, Bobby wanting a divorce, Lana and Natty maybe joining forces for some reason. Like, I don't care.
I could see Lana and Natty become women tag team champions.
Maybe, but they're going to be a heel team, and Bayley and Sasha are a pretty solid heel team right now. So that's not happening.
They're facing the Iconics on Raw, It's two heel tag teams.
Are they? Is that happening? Right, that's happening Monday on Raw, right? Iconics versus Banks and Bailey. Street Profits.
Championship Monday.
Street Profits versus Viking Raiders, also for the tag team titles on Raw. Any other titles being defended? Drew's not defending,
I believe. No, Drew's not defending, but R-Truth is defending against Tozawa, I believe.
The 24/7, 7-Eleven, I-95, whatever, 420 title?
Correct.
Cool. Okay, let's talk about some wrestling that I did enjoy this week. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page beating QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes to retain the AEW Tag Team titles. I thought that was a solid little match there. Not too bad.
I thought Dustin looked amazing in that match. I know you talked about this week about guys like over 50 like should be wrestling. Like Dustin, in my opinion, he's one of the best wrestlers.
I said Minoru Suzuki is the only wrestler over 50 worth watching because he turned 52 this week. And I was immediately corrected because somebody told me PCO was over 50, which I didn't realize. I thought he was like 48, 49. PCO is worth watching. And you're right, Johnny North. Dustin Rhodes, also over 50, worth watching. Some of the other guys, Bill Goldberg, not worth watching, over 50. Okay? Triple H, Undertaker. You know. But Dustin can still go. Jericho, when he turns 50, he's 49 now. He'll still be able to go. All right? I'm not disparaging the 50-plus wrestlers. I'd also like to remind you that AJ Styles today is the same age Hulk Hogan was in 1997 when people said he was too old to be a world champion. Just as a reminder. AJ's like 43. Hogan was 43 in 97. And people are like, he's way too old. He's holding everybody down. Why are we watching these old guys wrestle? Remember? They made fun of Nitro for being the old guy show. They had like guys in their early 40s, and they were like, these are the old guys. What's happening? Wrestling has become an older profession over the past 20 years because back in the late 90s, if you were 40, you were old. Now, if you're 50, you're getting there, but you can still go. Now if you're 60, then it's like, all right, guys, that's enough. But in 1997, if you were 60, like you weren't really given the time of day. 50-year-olds were not on TV. Like in 1997, I don't know. I mean, maybe Greg the Hammer Valentine was on Saturday night once in a while, but like in 1997, you didn't have 50-year-old guys in main event roles on TV. And Hulk Hogan at 43 was thought to be too old. But that's how old AJ Styles is today, and I think he might be 42, but it's like they're the same age. And people are like, Hogan. I remember that when people were saying that about Hogan in the late 90s. No one's saying that about AJ Styles today. A lot of guys in their early 40s are just killing it.
I feel as long as you're able to reinvent yourself and stay relevant, then age isn't really that big of a factor. Like with Hogan, the NWO became the hottest thing in wrestling, so it didn't really matter that he was 43.
Yes, it did. People were mad. You don't remember what people were saying about Hogan back then? Were you not on the internet?
People were still watching.
I was on the internet in 1997, dude. I remember what people were saying about Hulk Hogan. How old he was. How he couldn't wrestle anymore because he was too old. I was like, okay. I believed it back then. But now I'm like, wait a second. That made no sense. Okay. AEW. Dustin Rhodes, not too old to wrestle. He's awesome. Cody Rhodes, in his prime, also awesome. Wrestling Ricky Starks, a former NWA television champion, now wrestles in AEW. Cody got the win after a crossroads. I've heard of Ricky Starks. I don't know too much about Ricky Starks, but I really enjoyed his match. I thought he was really solid. That was good work. Cody is doing the damn thing. You know, he is really having a solid run over the past few weeks, at least, with this TNT title. I'm enjoying what Cody's doing with this belt. Feels very old school.
Well, it's just what makes this very intriguing is that he can kind of go to different feds that aren't really running right now, and people can come in and wrestle him. I think that's what makes it interesting, where you don't really know who he's going to wrestle next week, kind of thing. And the fact that he's going to do it every week, that's a lot. But the fact that he can keep up the quality is even better.
Now, I've already received several requests, Johnny North, to get you to challenge for the TNT title against Cody. He's taking on all comers.
I've heard those two.
Open challenge. I mean, people are talking. I think it's time we get Johnny North in the AEW Dynamite ring to take on Cody and take the TNT title from him. I mean, probably not, but like, hey, maybe get a job out of it, you know? AEW contract would be pretty cool. That's what Ricky Starks got, and I would love that for Johnny North. I'd love to see you wrestle Cody Rhodes. That'd be amazing, man. I think you'd have a hell of a match with Cody. You could do it. So, hey, Cody, my man Johnny North here, he can't wrestle. No indie shows in Canada. Bring him over to AEW. Give him a match. And show the world that you're not scared of the big man. All right? North Genesis. At North Genesis on Twitter, Cody. Hit him up. You know who I'm scared of? Not you, John. I'm not scared of you. Abaddon. I'm scared to death of Abaddon. What is that? What happened there? Oh my God, that lady is frightening. With the eye, the contacts, and the makeup, and the whole look, it is frightening. And I thought she was out to lose to Anna Jay. Incorrect. Anna Jay took a vicious beating, got totally squashed by Abaddon. She comes out looking like a creature of the night, like a full-on monster. She is scary looking, man. I was freaked out. I was like, whoa, who is that? What is going on here? I love it, man. I love her look. Abaddon is awesome. She is scary. I don't know much. Her match was kind of whatever, but the look, by God. Oh, my God. She's scary, man. Johnny, were you not freaked out by this lady? What does she look like without that stuff on? Probably just like sweet and like nice, you know? Like a school teacher or something. Oh, Abaddon. I searched Abaddon on Google, and the second thing that comes up, Abaddon wrestler without makeup. Oh, there she is. Yeah, she looks nice.
Well, yeah, I saw her first match, so I kind of understood what was going to happen going into that. But I like the way they presented it, where they gave Anna Jay the video package, kind of build her up to seem like she's going to be the star. But then come the match, she got completely destroyed. So I was happy with that, because I find with the Abaddon like character, it only works as if she's like strong and like she's like this menacing character, and they can't just have her lose all the time. So I'm glad that they have actually changed that, and they finally signed her as well.
So she does have a contract. That's
according
great
to
news.
AEW.
That's great stuff, because she is so crazy looking. Like, my goodness. Let me show you a picture here. If you're listening to this on the radio, you won't be able to see it, but there she is, Abaddon. My goodness, what a look on this lady. Scary. And I guess that might be her without the makeup. See, very pretty. With the makeup, very scary. I love it. I love it. What a cool gimmick, man. What a cool gimmick. She looks like a zombie or a monster, or I don't even know, man, but jeez, she's freaky. And especially next to Anna Jay, who's just all like nice and cute, and you know, and then here comes Abaddon. It's like, oh God, it's like a next level Luna Vachon, you know.
I was thinking, like, this is what Sister Abigail should have been all along, kind of thing. But, yeah, that works, too, with Luna.
Yeah,
but this was definitely needed.
Luna, Daphne type of thing, you know? But, like, next level.
Yeah, more undead-like, but yes, very much so. They definitely needed this AEW because...
There was another one. Wasn't there one? There was, like, Daphne, and then there was somebody else in TNA... with Abyss.
They're probably thinking Rosemary, maybe?
Rosemary. Yeah. Yeah. But this is a whole different thing.
Similar.
Abaddon. Amazing. I love it.
AEW needed this because they had the injuries to Britt Baker and Chris Statlander, so they needed someone to help kind of fill the void. They still need someone else, a veteran, but this is definitely a step in the right direction.
Britt Baker on her cart is just fantastic. Big swole, stealing the cart, kidnapping Britt Baker, and then you find Britt Baker later on. She's in a garbage dump or a garbage dumpster, yelling at Rebel.
She had the best line when she's like, "You're fired." She's like, "I'm free." That was great.
And then Britt's like, no, get back here. And where's Tony Schiavone? That was great. Britt Baker is hilarious. She reminds me, like, her character is Jericho-ish at this point, though. I feel like she's getting pointers from Jericho because, like, her, like, arrogance, but also being a total goof, you know, but, like, taking it seriously, it reminds me of a Jericho-style character, does it not?
A little bit. Her Ralphus is better, though.
Yes. I love it. Who's Ralphus? Is it Rebel or is it Tony?
That's a good question. I guess Tony would be more Ralphus, I guess.
Yeah,
Tony's more dim-witted, I guess.
Yeah, Tony's her Ralphus big time. I love what she's doing, man. Britt Baker is she's a shining light in professional wrestling. She's cutting some of the best promos in the whole business. I didn't see a better promo than the Britt Baker dumpster promo this week. I was not entertained by a promo more than the Britt Baker in the dumpster promo. No?
I can't think of one on the top of my head. I didn't mind Cody and Arn. I like when Arn talks. I think he should talk more. But yeah, nothing else comes to mind right now.
Certainly not that Firefly Funhouse that came back on SmackDown this week that ended with Bray Wyatt going back to old Bray Wyatt, not The Fiend, not Firefly Funhouse, Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt, but old from the Bayou, you know, with the hat, follow the buzzards Bray Wyatt. That's who he is now. And that seemed to scare the life out of Braun Strowman. Braun seemed frightened. Braun is really weird. The character doesn't make sense. Sometimes when Bray does these things, like there's a gift, he's like really scared. But then other times he's just like no-selling Bray's nonsense. I don't understand what Braun Strowman is supposed to believe. Is Braun actually intimidated by Bray Wyatt? Or is he not scared by all the parlor tricks? Because sometimes he sells it like he is deathly afraid of the voodoo magic that is Bray Wyatt the Fiend. And other times he's just like, this is all silly. You're going to get these hands. Braun Strowman's a terrible champion so far. Awful. His like acting, his character motivation is just not there. It doesn't make any kind of sense. Boo. Boo Braun Strowman. Boo Bray Wyatt going back to old school Bray Wyatt. That's just terrible. I mean, just be the Fiend already. I don't know. I guess he'll be the Fiend at SummerSlam and he'll be old school Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules. Doesn't he understand that the Fiend is like his best character? That's where he wins his matches, but like, whatever. He wishes he could cut promos like Britt Baker, you know? Best Friends beat Le Sex Gods in the main event of Dynamite this week. Orange Cassidy showed up after the match and attacked Jericho, put a pretty good beating on Le Champion.
Oh, he was the cameraman, actually. Like, he disguised himself, and he cost him the match because of that, because he tripped Sammy.
Yeah. And he was wearing a face mask, too. Did you notice that? Orange Cassidy was wearing...
forgot.
Yeah, he wouldn't be allowed ringside at a WWE show wearing that mask, but he could jump into an AEW ring and attack Le Champion. Goodness.
Well, AEW is different, apparently, where if you don't feel comfortable, you could wear a mask.
Yeah, I like that, because AEW is a more progressive company than the WWE. MJF beat Billy Gunn after a punch with MJF's ring that he used illegally there. MJF, after the match, brawled with like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. That felt really good, that brawl. It felt really organic, you know? They were there, but like all of a sudden there's like this huge brawl and everybody's jumping over the barricade. I like that. I thought that was done very well. The big brawl, the pull-apart brawl in wrestling is something that's overdone and rarely done where it feels real, where it looks good. But this one was really good. The camera angle, too, above the ring, and you're seeing some guys on the apron trying to fight them off. Some guys, I mean, it was just like a melee. I thought that was really well done. Just that part. I really like that. Young Bucks.
I really
sorry, go ahead.
Like the match, too, by the way. I thought the match was very good. We don't see Billy Gunn wrestle that much, but I thought it was a very good back-and-forth match. And the fact that we finally saw like a face-heel kind of match. Like, too many matches are face versus face. It's great to see like an actual heel at work.
Billy Gunn, another guy over 50 worth watching. Right?
He doesn't look like he's over 50. He looks fantastic.
He does. How old is Billy Gunn at this point? I don't want to, call him out there, but he's definitely 50-something, right? I'd say
for
around 55. 56.
He should, like...
He's 56, and he's jacked like that, man.
Unbelievable.
Ooh. Yeah, well, why he was fired from WWE, right?
Yeah, he's taking stuff he shouldn't be taking.
For roids, right? Wasn't it steroids? He was on steroids? Something, right?
Well, if you got some HGH or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so, if you do things like that, you could look fantastic at 56, also with a good diet and workout and everything, right? Billy Gunn looks great. I'm not trying to disparage him. I'm just saying, let's be real. There's a reason why he was fired from WWE, and that's because he was on some drugs that they didn't allow in the company. Young Bucks beat Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian. That's the last time you'll be seeing Jimmy Havoc for a while. Butcher and the Blade hit the ring afterwards. FTR hit the ring and helped the Bucks take out all the heels. So the Revival and the Young Bucks continuing this weird, are we going to fight or are we going to be together story. I assume that they'll fight, hopefully at Fyter Fest, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think if we get that match, it'll be at the pay-per-view. Maybe we'll get a match where they're all teaming with each other, or there'll be like a 3 corners kind of match, 4 corners kind of match, but I don't see the actual Bucks versus FTR match until later.
And Brian Cage and Jon Moxley cutting promos on each other. I feel like Brian Cage is just going to be fed to Moxley, and I wonder why AEW is so hell-bent on bringing in monsters from the outside just to have them lose in their first match in the company. Their first big match, their first big spot, they lose. They did it to Lance Archer. They did it to Jake Hager against Moxley, and they're probably going to do it to Brian Cage. I don't know. I feel like Luke Harper, too. Didn't Brody Lee come in and lose a match? Who did he lose to? Moxley, right?
Moxley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Archer loses to Cody. Moxley takes out Brody Lee, takes out Jake Hager. And now what? He's going to take out Brian Cage? I just don't understand what the thinking is. Bringing in so many new talents, so many big guys, and then right away hot-shotting them to main event angles, only for them to lose to your already established guys. Because then you have these new signees that are big, that are talented, but you've brought them into the company as losers. And they're doing the same thing to Brian Cage. They give him a gimmick, they give him Taz, and now he's going to wrestle Jon Moxley, but I don't believe he's going to beat Jon Moxley. And I wonder how many monsters are they going to sacrifice for this Jon Moxley title reign. Hager, Brody Lee, Brian Cage. And Archer, too. Like, Archer was with Cody, but he doesn't look good after that loss to Cody. He's the murder hawk. He's crushing everybody, and then Cody just beats him and disappears. Can't do anything with Lance Archer anymore. It's too bad, man. I don't think it's really good booking.
Well, I feel they're doing this because you've thrown so many huge monsters at Moxley. It just seems like it's getting bigger and bigger. So it feels like he kind of has to lose to Brian Cage because I don't think they have anyone bigger.
Well, Brian Cage isn't even that tall, right?
Well, right, but because he's so massive in terms of muscle mass, it kind of makes up for that.
So, why does it have to be a big giant guy to beat Jon Moxley? Why couldn't it be Jericho taking the title back? Or Hangman taking the title? Or any number of guys? I don't see Brian Cage as the next AEW champion. Maybe he will be, but I don't know. If Brian Cage is the next AEW champion, it's going to feel a lot like Impact Wrestling. And I think that's something you're trying to avoid. Right now, it feels like a bit of a WWE light. Slightly different, but like a spin-off of NXT almost, and Jon Moxley's the champion. If Brian Cage was the champion, it would start to feel like Impact Wrestling. And I don't think that's what you want to do. I think you want to push your homegrown guys. I would have thought that, Hangman would be a champion at some point. Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is the man. Nobody's going to argue with Kenny Omega as your world champion. And he's one of your guys. Now, you could say he's a New Japan guy, but, this is his company. It's All Elite Wrestling. He's a founding member of the Elite. Kenny Omega makes sense as the world champion, and still AEW has not put the belt on him. Best bout machine, not the world champion. I don't get it. I don't get it. They bring in WWE guys, Impact Wrestling guys. They bring in guys from the outside. Put them over. What about your own guys? At least Cody has a title. But I assumed when AEW started that Kenny Omega would be the world champion within the first year. And again, I've said this before, but the lack of upwards mobility for Kenny Omega, the inability of AEW to turn Kenny Omega into a massive star main event player is a failure on the part of AEW. It's a failure. Kenny Omega was the hottest wrestler in the world before AEW started. And his brand is lukewarm right now. Kenny Omega was the guy, the number one, hands down at one point, a couple of years ago. And now, he's good. We know he can be that guy, but it's not his spot. And I think that that's a failure on AEW's part. You should have established Kenny Omega as your top guy, shown the world what he can do. I know what he can do. But they're not showing you. You see glimpses of it. That Pac match, a couple of those matches with Pac, you saw it. You saw what Kenny Omega was. But, that tag team match, Kenny Omega in a tag team, Kenny Omega with Hangman Page against QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes, that's all right. That's not Kenny Omega. That's not the best bout machine. That's not that guy. I want to see the Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada Kenny Omega. I want to see the New Japan Kenny Omega. The main event, IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega. I want to see that guy. And I have not seen that guy in his full force in AEW. Maybe he needs Ibushi with him. I don't know. Maybe he needs Kota to be there. I don't know. Maybe a piece of Kenny is missing. I would believe that because Kenny is sensitive, and I love it. It's part of why I love Kenny Omega so much. And I say this as one of the world's biggest Kenny Omega fans. I love this guy. I think he's the best. I want him to spread his wings and fly. Spread those angels' wings and fly, Kenny Omega. It's your company. It's your show. Let's see it. Show the world what you can do. We know you're the best. Take that title from Jon Moxley and tell him, all right, bud. It's my turn now. It's Kenny's time. Best bout machine. And on that, we must bid you adieu. Goodbye. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do. Goodbye.
They're going to do the gunpoint.
Mwah! And good night. Bang. No? Sorry. I miss it.
I only know the song that he has currently, where he's with his backpack walking.
Yeah, I like that song too. Are you ready to go? Are you ready for this? Me and my son play that a lot. My son likes to pretend he's different wrestlers. He likes to be Kenny Omega, and he likes that song. I hear the battle cry under the devil's sky. No? Are you ready to go?
Figure on the Bucks song.
Oh, he likes that song too. He likes all the songs, and I know them all. Even like he requests Kip Sabian's song the other day. I was like, how do you know who Kip Sabian is? He knows more wrestlers than most people. It's crazy. All right, John.
Kip Sabian's on every week.
Goodbye. Mwah. Good night. Bang. RingsideReport.net is the website. Go there. We're overtime. Follow Johnny North on Twitter at North Genesis. On Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. Follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA. If you're doing bad things, I will check you. If you love Kenny Omega like I do, support him. Support AEW Wrestling. Support professional wrestling. Believe victims. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Be cool. Take care. Spike your hair. Is that what Zack Ryder said? Woo, woo, woo. You know it? Woo, woo, woo. You know it. For Johnny North, I'm Dave Simon. Thanks, everybody. What, John? What?
I believe there was more to it, but I can't remember it.
I thought that was it. I'm Zack Ryder, your internet champion. Take care and spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. Wasn't that it?
Yeah, that's it. It was just he's the internet champion. That's the main thing.
Internet champion. All right, Johnny North. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for listening. For Johnny, I'm Dave. This has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo!